Hey, all my IFG friends, this is Steve. I want to say, if you like movies like I do, we've started a new podcast called Happy Hour Flicks. You can find it anywhere podcasts are found. It's all about nostalgic movies that we love, and we bring on special guests each episode, and we also have specialty cocktails made for each one, too. So it really is an hour of a good time talking about movies that we love, like Gremlins, Seven, Free Willy. We talk about The Last Starfighter also. I mean, we kind of run the gamut across all the decades and really have a great time. So wanted to invite you to come over and join us. That's Happy Hour Flicks, anywhere podcasts are found. Oh wow, you shot for 30 days.
Because of the locations. I think if I know what I know now, I would have consolidated a lot of things. I think that's definitely a first-time rookie mistake.
This is the Independent
Filmmaker's Guide
from Framework Productions.
Framework Productions.
Welcome to the Independent Filmmakers Guide podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Pierce, and today in this episode we are catching up with Amy Long. She's a writer and director, and she has right now her film coming out in New York and LA for in theaters as well as on all major streaming platforms through Vertical Entertainment. The film is called A Shot Through the Wall. It is an intense social drama based around sort of police actions and police use of force. So it's definitely a timely piece. And Amy and I get into it a lot more. Amy, thank you so much for joining me here today. Very excited to talk about your movie, A Shot Through the Wall. This is your first feature film, right? As a director?
It is. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. It's great to see you. So tell me, A Shot Through the Wall, if anybody's not seen it, what is it about?
So A Shot Through the Wall, it's about an Asian American cop who killed an innocent black man in the projects in New York. It deals with this man's guilt and whether he should be held accountable.
Oh, wow. I mean, like reading the log line and everything, it seems very intense, very
heavy.
A lot of social texture built in there, especially at a time like nowadays with all, everything going on. Did you write the film as well, or did you get the script from somewhere else?
No, I did write the film. There was an incident that happened in 2014, so I start writing this in 2015, sort of just working my way, trying to figure out. It's sort of a self-discovering process of seeing where me as an Asian American woman stands in the spectrum of racism today.
Yeah, of course. I imagine that. So it was inspired by a real event, and then that's something you kind of expanded into a fictional story?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I took a lot of artistic liberties, so it's not really, it bears resemblance to the actual event, but it doesn't have anything really to do with the actual event. It just sort of inspired it.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. So tell me, how did you get moving down this road? You just had this idea, you started to write the film, and how did it take the next steps to where it became actually captured and turned into an independent film?
So I was working on a different film at the time, and I think about 2 weeks before we were going to shoot, my actress, this was a star attached, and she had to pull out very last minute. She had a high risk pregnancy, and it was great, but at the same time, it was very sad for me.
Right. No, of course. Yeah. So was there a different project that was like 2 weeks from shooting and then the talent had to back out? Wow.
Correct. Yes.
So how did you possibly pivot into this script so quickly?
So it was a very different tone, very different film. That was going to be my first feature. And I had worked on that for over 2 years. And at that point, I was devastated. And when this incident happened, I was living in New York at the time. And then I went home for a weekend. And then we all sat down. I went home in the Bay Area. I'm from California. So there was this family event, and my family and friends were just in this heated debate over dinner about about this thing that just happened where an Asian American cop killed an innocent black man, and he was convicted. He was the first officer that was convicted in 12 years in New York State. So people were talking about whether he was scapegoated, whether he was, whether he should be held accountable. And then when that happened, I think I was in a very different mindset. And so sort of this incident sort of took me away from my film and gave me something else to focus on and to write about. And I start writing the script. And I sent it to a couple of casting directors and some people. So my film is a predominantly Asian American cast, and some casting directors said, "Oh, you're writing yourself into a corner." But this is an interesting story. We're curious. This was 2015. This was before BLM came to fruition. So people weren't talking about these police brutality stories or excessive police, any of this type of stories. So people sort of took notice on it, and I was shopping it around. And
I mean, I feel like you, as much as I have to say, unfortunately, you really the subject matter kind of felt like it almost grew up across that time between now.
Yes, definitely. So when I was writing it, people weren't really talking about this subject matter. People just thought, oh, well, okay, this is a different take. This is also, I think it's coming from an Asian American perspective, which is a little different. I think it's very much of a black and white matter in the media. And I sort of asserted a different perspective into this. So people responded to it. And this film sort of saved me because I was in a depression going down a different downward spiral because my other film was just, unfortunately, that I was working on for 2 years, that just fell apart last minute. So
I'm sure that this is, I mean, so many people have to be so happy, proud, I don't know, enthusiastic to see not only the subject matter being talked about, but being talked about from someone with your perspective and with a cast that represents that. So, I mean, it feels like you probably were very true to yourself and the subject matter in making that. And I think that it probably will make a very unique perspective.
I think to me, it was just, this was also before Crazy Rich Asian came out, this wave of Asian American films. So before that, we really rarely see ourselves on screen represented anywhere. I think the funny thing is, I think culturally, we always said to not air our dirty laundries outside. We're told to sort of keep our voice down. So it's very, I think at the time I was just thinking, I want to see my family represented in some ways. I want to see myself sort of represented on the big screen. So I was curious about that. Yeah.
I mean, it's very I mean, honestly, it's probably, I mean, we're seeing that across the whole industry, right? With people like wanting to see more representation of themselves. That feels like that obviously was important to you when you were writing the script. Was that ever deliberate, or was just how the story unfolded to you?
I think that was deliberate in some sense. I want to keep it authentic. To me, that was really important. I'm Chinese American. I came from a first generation immigrant family. And I think to me, it was really important that I keep the story authentic. I think that was pretty intentional.
Has your family all seen it?
No.
Oh, no.
I think I don't want to stereotype my family, but, very Asian American, very, this is not the career choice that they would choose for me. I think they've heard about this project. They know what I'm doing, but I don't think they've ever actually seen a film that I've made.
Oh, wow.
No.
Well, do you want, I guess this is the kind of the underlying question there. Do you want them to watch it? And if they did, what would you, how do you think they'd react to it?
Of course I do. I think I do want them to watch it, but I think it's also, there are parts of it so I'm not involved in police force or anything like that, but there's a part of this family that's very, very personal to me, and it's rooted in a lot of interactions in my own family and things like that. So I think it's actually quite a vulnerable and scary thing for me to watch them watching my film. And but yeah, I mean, I would love for them to watch it. I would be very curious of what their reactions would be. But also a part of me is very scared.
Right. Well, that's good. As the artist, that's good. That means there's a vulnerability to that. It means it's true to you. You know what I mean? You put yourself on screen in some way or another, and exposing that's very, very scary.
Yes, exactly.
Well, so speaking of exposing it, it's going to theaters, right? You have a theatrical run coming up. So go ahead.
Yes, we have a very selective theatrical run. I think Omicron doesn't help.
No, of course not. Is it in Los Angeles, New York? Where is it going to be running?
It's in Los Angeles and New York, and I think 10 other markets.
Oh, very cool.
Separating in the country. I think in Los Angeles, it's only in Laemmle Theater in Glendale, and in New York, it's going to be in Kent Theater in Brooklyn.
Yeah, right. Down. I think it's in Williamsburg, right? But yeah, no, that's awesome. So I mean, that's going to be very fun to get to. I mean, I would dream of seeing a film up on the screen. You know what I mean? That's going to be quite an experience.
This is definitely a dream come true. Honestly, it's just been a long time making. We started this project in 2015, and right now it's 2020. Also, a lot of things happen in between. Right. I think.
So let's kind of. If I can ask you about that, what happened between 2015 and now? Like, how did you start writing it, and you sent it to some casting directors? Was it cast that came first, or producing, or how did you figure it out?
So I have a production company. I work with my producing partner, and we both produce this. And we send it to other producers first. It is a very touchy subject. Mm-hmm. It's very controversial. Not a lot of people want to touch it. We didn't want to oversimplify a problem. I think it is a very complicated problem. And it was my intention to not make it black and white. I think there's a lot of nuance to it. And especially this event, this incident that I wrote, that's very fictional. And so we sent it to a lot of casting directors. I worked with a very great casting director. She was very patient with me. She is a Broadway veteran casting director. Her name is Pat McCorkle. She really took a chance on me. She was very patient with me because we spent about 9-10 months just looking for the lead.
Oh, wow.
Because Asian American actors at the time, again, a lot of casting directors came to me and said, "You're really writing yourself into a corner because there's not many of us, and of these we don't have, big stars,
right,
or something like that." And again, this was before Crazy Rich Asians. This is before a lot of other films that came out. So to me, it was really important to find an authentic Asian American or Chinese American lead. And Kenny Liu, who plays Mike Tian, this cop character in the film, he came along, and he really get the character, and I was very lucky to have him.
And so after you find your cast and you've kind of got them assembled, mm-hmm. How did that take the next step into production, and where are we in time? Like 2017 now?
So we started this beginning of 2015, spent about a year writing, and then casting another 9 months. And I think this put me to fall of 2017. And then we had gathered a little bit of funding, and we were going to go to principal of photography. We did, and we were very ambitious. I think it's inexperience. A lot of it was inexperience and ambition, and we shot 99% on location in New York City, and we had so many locations for this budget shoot, and it was tough. It was a very challenging shoot through and through. And but we sort of pulled it together.
How many? So you shoot in New York City. I mean, it's a great set piece. So many independent films have been shot there. How many days did you end up shooting?
30.
30? Oh wow, you shot for 30 days.
Because of the locations. I think if I know what I know now, I would have consolidated a lot of things. I think that's definitely a first time rookie, whatever you call a mistake or whatever, but we're proud of it now. But it was really challenging because there was so many company moves, and you know, I've done production in LA, in Atlanta, in New Orleans, and New York is a whole different beast.
Yeah, New York's a beast. Like, I mean, people who don't shoot here, you know, it's brutal. Like, it's even just getting the truck unloaded and getting the cameras out is exhausting.
Oh, totally. I think also I was very spoiled with commercial before this. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh yeah, totally. I can do this. And then I realized, oh, you know, indie film with with a very limited small crew, it was very challenging.
Yeah, exactly. You can quickly get into, what is it called? Like the gear, whatever, swarm or whatever, where you have more gear than you can actually work. Totally. So, you know, I mean, that happens a lot, I think, to independent crews or small crews are like, oh yeah, we definitely got all this stuff that is we got to spend all this money on the top end gear and you can never get it up and out of the truck.
Exactly. Yes. Learn my lesson there.
30 days is impressive, Amy. I mean, how large was the cast and the crew?
How large was the cast and crew? There was a lot of cast shuffling in and out as well. We really wanted to create that world. I didn't want that world to be very limited. And we had a lot of cast sort of coming in and out. There's a lot of characters. Again, that was inexperience and ambition altogether. But we had actually a relatively small crew for what we had, but we had to stretch that money to 30 days. Because
of course, that's what I was, that's where I was like, really where you get into your big expenditures are like how many bodies on how many days.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Do you remember what your crew was like? Like, do you have like you know what I mean? How many did you have? Like a couple of grips and electrics, or like 2 ACs, or was it really skeleton?
It was pretty skeleton. We had 2 ACs. We had a first and second. We had maybe G&E team was small too. A couple of swings, and a gaffer and the key and sort of a couple swings, just going back and forth wherever is needed. Yep. It was challenging. I really give props to my crew. This crew came together because they really believe in the project. They all read the script. I made sure they read the script. They know what they were getting themselves into. And it was a very nimble crew, and in the middle of at the late summer, early fall, sort of that month and a half. It was, they stuck with me, and it was good. And then the year after, we had to go back and do some pickups that we didn't have either the budget or the time to do in the first time round.
And so you went back and were able to just pick up a couple extra days there.
Yes, there's that, and also for the incident itself. So it was my choice in the beginning to not show the incident, because whenever something like this happens, usually we only see it when someone got shot, right? Afterwards, especially back then, before the body cams and before all the other footage are released and things like that. So throughout media and all that, usually you see it after when the incident happened. After the incident happened. And then, so it was my choice not to show the incident in the very beginning. And also I didn't want to re-traumatize people. That it's not necessary. And then after we had a few test screenings and we had a first cut, I realized it was crucial to actually show the incident to know what the ambiguities are and whether there are nuances or whether, who is telling the truth, who isn't. And so we went back and shot the actual, the fictional incident itself. And then a couple of things we were actually scheduled to do in the pickup that we wanted to do.
So I just read a book actually about test screenings, so I'm fascinated that you actually were able to do a couple of them, because that's really whenever you first learn how what you theorized is going to work. So what was your experience with the test screenings?
I think they're crucial. I think a lot of indie films, they don't leave budget for that. I think to me, that was very important. So we started from the very beginning knowing that we want to do these test screenings. And also it's, I think as filmmakers, we don't really, at least speaking for myself, I don't want to make films for myself. I want to make films for an audience. So I want to see what their reactions are. And to me, that was really important, especially for a topic like this. I want to make sure things are taken the way that I intended, instead of, you put something out there. It is how people interpret it. But at the same time, there are things I want to make sure works. And so we left something, we left some budget for the test screenings. And
it's like cooking.
And
it's like if you're trying to cook without tasting, you know what I mean? Like you can get pretty far on theory, but in the end, does this actually taste like spaghetti, or is it do we put sugar instead of salt?
Yes, exactly. I think that also because of the commercial background that helps, because we have focus groups, we have like people watching it and people giving us scores and things like that. So to me, it was really important to have some test screenings. Even though they were small, they were very useful.
Oh, did you do it with like friends and family, or did you have like focus groups?
Oh, to friends and family, really friends and family bringing in more friends that who we don't know. I think it's really important to have people who don't know you, or who, friends and family, they're supportive and all that. And you want people to give you actual,
legit feedback. You won't actually get the truth unvarnished.
Yes, basically. So that was important.
So what all changed after you added a key element to the script that you intentionally left out, but learned that from test screening, like, we got to put this in. What else changed?
What else did I learn from the test screenings? Yeah,
sure.
I think that was a big one, to know that what is needed for the film to work. And I think, afterwards, so we had we had very little test screening for the first round after our first cut. And then we had some test screening right after we locked, right before the pandemics, actually. And it took us a while to, it took us a while to edit the film. And we really tried to do our due diligence. I had a very amazing editor who's worked with me on all my projects, all my shorts, little commercials here and there. His name is Mike Fay. He was very patient with me, and we just sat together. It was actually a very good story because he was working on a film called On the Basis of Sex with Mimi Letter. And he was assistant editor on that film. And they were so gracious. They had a spare room on their floor. And we basically got that room for free for the entire duration of that film.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
And it was just, and Mike's wife was so supportive. She also is an assistant editor. So she just took over his job on that film while he worked with me in a separate room right next door. And Mimi Letter, she was such a champion for female filmmakers. She was very, very nice, and she came in and she said hi, and she gave us the room, and it was just, I couldn't be luckier.
That's really amazing. I mean, honestly, what a great break and great support. Yeah, that's what you hope, would happen. Is like people would support the newer kind of upcoming films and upcoming artists.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, totally. I was very excited about that.
Did you end up going the festival route? I mean, with all COVID and everything, how did you get met up with your distributor and get your distribution plan in place?
We did. We went to a bunch of small festivals. It was funny because I don't know. There was we applied for a bunch of festivals and at the time, I think in the space, there's also several other Asian American films. It was a very interesting thing. I think there's always, at least for the last couple of years, there's always like a token Asian American film, and then that was it. There's only certain numbers of slots. And also, I think my film is very easily misinterpreted because it comes from a cop's, we follow a cop, which in this day and age, it was very touchy. And
yeah, of course, it's a difficult subject, no matter how it's a very difficult subject to try and do something about, which is, there's like I forget I can't remember the woman's name, but the woman that created Viewpoints, which is like a movement exercise. She always says the place that makes you the most uncomfortable is the place that you probably should be. And I think that could apply in here too. If it makes you uncomfortable, it's hard to talk about. That's a good place to be exploring.
Yes, exactly. That's why I thought it was worth my time. And I knew this was going to take a while, but I didn't honestly think it was going to take this long. But also I felt like it was a project that definitely was worth my time because how uncomfortable the whole subject matter is. Sure. And I get to explore that. And but yes, it was really easy to be misinterpreted. And so we got a lot of rejections, but we were also very lucky. I think most festivals give out a form rejection, just an email. We got a lot of phone calls, which I was very grateful for. And then and we premiered. So this took us to the pandemics pretty much. And we premiered at Bentonville.
Bentonville is a great festival. Yeah, in Arkansas.
Yeah, in 2020. Yeah, no, Gina Davis was so supportive, and the whole team was really great. And
I think it's probably one of the most. We had another film from Bentonville was Les Bomb was a comedy that. But yeah, I really really love that festival. I think they're probably one of the biggest up and comers. I can't even call them an up and comer anymore. They're kind of already here.
Yeah, I wish I could go. So it was 2020. Yeah. Everything was virtual, and we were stuck in this limbo. And then they asked to see a screener, and they were really gracious to us, and we premiered there, and then we went on a little bit of festival run, and then I think we signed on to a sales agent. The timeline is a little blurred to me, but I think at the end of 2020 we signed on with a sales agent, Concourse Media. And they were at Concourse Media. They were very supportive too, and they got us Vertical, and we were very happy with them. And also,
it won't be any surprise. I love Vertical. How's your experience been with Vertical Entertainment? I think they're pretty strong independent distributor, and you're in great company. They carry a great catalog.
Yes, exactly. So we had a couple of offers, and we really just looked at their catalog and said, "Oh, we would like to be in the catalog of this."
Exactly, yeah.
Films, yeah, basically. And they were very nice. They were, to offer a limited theatrical run in this day and age. I think, to me, that was pretty incredible. It was a dream come true. I was very happy about that. And so that brings us to Year. So it's coming out in January 21st, which is Friday. It's pretty scary and pretty exciting at the same time.
I was about to say, you're kind of at the end of the journey for this particular film. Are you going to pick up the original film first that you lost the talent for, come back around and make it?
So that film, I'm still Well, no, I'm writing something new now. and
Another lighthearted romp comedy, I assume.
Right. Oh man. I'm really trying to write something a little lighter. This is definitely a really heavy piece, and it took us so long. And I'm looking for a different genre and just a little bit of comedy, a little more humor in it. And,
something that it's not so. The whole of editing isn't so deep.
Yes, exactly. So that's the intent, and so I'm writing my next feature, but yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm just happy to have this one taken off the ground.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's got to feel great. You're done with the first one, now on to the second one. You get to make the sophomore effort now, Yeah. It's great.
Definitely.
So if people wanted to learn more about the film or where to go see it, where should they go?
Yes, we're on Facebook. I think it's called A Shot Through the Wall film, and the Instagram account is also A Shot Through the Wall film.
Okay, great. So should people follow you on Instagram or like on social media for updates?
Oh yes, please. My Instagram handle is the Amy Long, TheAimeelong. I'm not very good with the social media thing.
IFG is created by Framework Productions. This episode was hosted and directed by Stephen Pierce and James Allardyce. It was produced and edited by Matt Mundy and Audrey Ray McHale. The music is by Glassboy. Find his music on freemusicarchive.org. See and listen to all the episodes at independentfilmmakersguide.com. Thanks for listening.
Hey friends, we just wanted to take a quick moment to talk about two personal things. First, we wanted to thank you, our listening community, and our wonderful guests, learning so much together along the way and continuing to learn, sharing our stories, making a lot of new friends, and collaborating, which is exactly what this is all about. Which also brings me to my second point. In great part to many of these new relationships, we wanted to let you know that we've taken a lot of this advice ourselves and made our own narrative feature film, Herd, H-E-R-D, Herd, which is premiering this October on Friday the 13th in select theaters as well as on VOD. Personally, I think it's the perfect kind of scary movie to watch during our favorite scary season. So we'd love for you to celebrate with us and watch Herd. You can pre-order it on Apple TV and, of course, do the communal thing, see it in theaters. Of course, for all of this, please see our show notes, but basically, we're going to keep it all updated at herd.film. That's HERD.FILM, herd.film as well. Thank you again, and be sure to give us a rating and a review over on Apple Podcasts so we can continue to build this community and collaborate. IFG, how movies get made.